Your roofer told you that you need drip edge on your roof, but what the heck is drip edge? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you what drip edge is, what it does for you, and why you need it. This is Dave. Dave doesn't have drip edge on his roof. This is what can happen when you don't have drip edge. We recently went to this house that did not have drip edge on it, and you can see how rotted out the fascia boards are. Fortunately for this homeowner, the water damage was contained to the exterior of the house, and it didn't move to the interior of the house, but it definitely could have done that. Drip edge can prevent this problem from happening. But how? Well, I'll explain that. Drip edge is a metal flashing that gets installed on all the edges of your roof. The edge of the roof that runs parallel with your shingles is called the eave, and the eave is typically where your gutters are installed. The edge of your roof that runs perpendicular to your shingles is called the gable end, or the rake edge. Drip edge is almost always going to be installed at the eaves, but it's also a really good practice to put it on the rake edges too. But first, let me clarify a couple of terms. Technically, the metal flashing that gets installed on your eaves and hangs down into your gutters is called a gutter apron. And the metal flashing that gets installed on the rake edges is what's called drip edge. But we can just generically refer to all of it for the purposes of this video as drip edge. The eave drip edge is designed to be installed underneath all of the roofing material, and then it's got a lip that hangs down into the gutter. So this prevents water from being able to creep back up underneath the shingles and get down behind the fascia, and it also prevents water from being able to get behind the gutter on the front of the fascia, which is what can cause fascia and soffit damage like we saw before. So the eave drip edge is preventing water from being able to intrude into that intersection of the roof and the fascia. And the best practice for the eave drip edge is to have it angled to meet the pitch of the roof. If you try to use a 90-degree metal flashing on the eave, depending on how steep the roof is, it probably isn't going to work very well. Oftentimes, eave drip edge is going to be angled at 120 degrees instead of 90 degrees. It's also best practice to use a drip edge that extends 4 inches up the roof deck, so that way it covers any gaps that might be there between where the roof decking maybe doesn't come all the way down to the fascia. So if you use a drip edge that only goes 2 inches up the roof deck, sometimes there may not be enough wood to actually nail that drip edge into sufficiently. The drip edge for the rakes also diverts water away from the fascia wood with this little kick out that it's got at the bottom of it. The rake drip edge should be 90 degrees, so that way it sits flush on the roof deck and on the fascia wood. It's also possible on the rake edge that there could be a gap between the roof deck and the fascia. So again, it's a good practice, I would say best practice, to use a rake drip edge that goes 4 inches back onto the roof deck. Some jurisdictions in the country will require drip edge to be installed only in the eaves, but not on the rakes. And some are going to require it to be installed on all roof edges, eaves and rakes. And it's really up to your roofer to know where drip edge needs to be installed so that you can make sure that you're meeting the local codes that you have to comply with. So do you want to be like Dave and end up with rotted exterior wood and possibly water damaged drywall? Or do you want to protect and extend the life of your roof and your home? Don't be like Dave. Tell your roofer you want drip edge on all the edges of your roof.